Welcome to Afterburner, gang. Thanks for joining us this Remembrance Day. No asterisk on this one. The Flames knock off the Pacific Division leading LA Kings thanks to a pair of quick second period goals and a lights out performance in net by Dustin Wolf. Kind of no way you cut it. Calgary was the better team tonight. They walk away with the 3-1 victory. They improved to 8-5-3 on the season and leapfrog the Canucks. And
yes,
I mean, it was almost perfect. It was so close to perfect. Everyone in the chat and online is talking about what they're flashing back to. A lot of people are flashing back to 2004. I'm flashing back to last season where Dustin Wolf was denied his first NHL shutout when the Sharks scored with 9 seconds left.
Right.
Video review, man. Awful.
Hey, if that puck was in, the puck in 2004 was in. I'm just going to say that.
I think we all know that puck in 2004 was in. Is there anyone who's going to go on the stand in the year of the Lord 2024 and say it wasn't in?
Probably anyone on that Tampa team, but everyone else.
Who wants to listen to them anyway?
Yeah, forget them. But yeah, that was a good game. I mean, you're right, from start to finish. The Flames have had a lot of problems in first periods through most of the year, but I thought, the first 10 minutes were a little sloppy on both ends for sure, but the Flames were the better team in the first, and it was a pretty industrious game from start to finish. It was I've had a couple of appearances when they've had plucky losses, but you're right, I think they deserve the win.
I didn't even think Calgary was sloppy. I thought they came out pretty good in the beginning of the first period. I thought Los Angeles looked
LA was sloppier
for sure. Yeah, LA was not doing great, but I thought Connor Zary especially, he was driving the bus for Calgary in that first period. I thought it was probably their most complete 60-minute effort that I've seen this year.
Yeah, I would agree to that. They kept them out to the outside most of the game, and the handful of times the Kings got in, Wolf was there.
What did you think of those kind of new angles on the broadcast? It was, of course, the first Flames Prime Video broadcast of the year, and even just the overhead camera for the net shots almost seemed just a little a touch different than the Sportsnet setup.
Yeah, I like that whole broadcast. I thought it was pretty well done, especially for sort of a new thing, and my picture quality was really good. I thought the commentary was solid. They talked about the Flames most of the time, which you may not get all the time with sort of other broadcasts. So I thought the in between the first and second period is really good. So yeah, good on Amazon for that. That was quality.
No, there were some things I was iffy on for it, honestly.
Oh yeah, like what?
I thought the picture and audio quality was amazing. I really loved in the lead up to the game having the crowd shots and just seeing what was going on around the rink pregame. I don't know why Oliver Backlund had a blown up hand balloon, a blown up glove, but it was comforting. I liked it, seeing the fans and stuff. It was the hockey version of having the fireplace channel on at Christmas.
Right.
But they had some audio mix issues in the first period where I thought the dome was louder than the commentators. But kind of actually the opposite of what you said, I thought it had a lack of local touch. I was disappointed that for Amazon's first broadcast of the Flames, they couldn't find a more timely storyline than Michael Backlund's 1000th game. I didn't find it contributed anything new to that conversation, and it came after a random Mark Messier segment. It was interesting, but if I was producing that show, it's not what I'd start with. The one thing that Sportsnet does crush is local storylines. That's true for Edmonton. That's true for us here in Calgary. Francis and Ryan Leslie have a pulse on what's happening, and they always have an anecdote or a Calgary-specific story to bring to every broadcast. Even when it's Hockey Night in Canada, you get that with Kelly or the panel in general. And that kind of missed. They couldn't take a look back to the pregame ceremony for Remembrance Day / Veterans Day for the American contingent. And the Flames had a great piece on Ryan Lomberg paying his respects at the Field of Crosses. So I wish that there was more done that way, but I think if Amazon gets more games down the road, I would hope that would be something they focus on. Because like it is harder to do if you don't have someone like in that market and trying to stay up on these things. But I guess I was happy Thomas Hickey got his flowers as a Trails West.
Yeah, good for him. I liked him between the benches too, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, there are some good little cut-ins there. Like he almost could have been used more, but dang, like the picture and the video, that just like blew me away. That looked awesome.
It's definitely good for a first try.
A first try. That sounds meaner than anything I had to say, Kent.
No, I'd be happy to watch that, honestly.
Yeah, take it anytime. But let's get to a quick recap of the old game. We'll just do the goals. We'll get to some of the other key moments after. But we pick it up in the second. The captain, Michael Backlund, jumps on a loose puck and rips it high. I really like that he didn't hesitate on this. He wasn't trying to stutter step Kemper or dangle it, which is, I think, what we would assume Backlund would do in a lot of situations. And I think Kemper would have had it otherwise. So Backlund gets his 4th of the season right here.
It's 2 top corner snipes in a row.
Look at him go. And then, yeah, Huberto, he's becoming like kind of key on those follow-up plays. Right after that, like less than 30 seconds later, I forgot what an emphatic Huberto celebration looks like. Kuzmenko had an amazing seeing eye pass, like all the way up. Yeah. Yeah. So like Kuzmenko just finds the seam. Huberto makes a great shot under pressure. He looks so confident on that one. We had a Wolf assist on the goal, but I like.
That's right.
Oh, I mean, when Huberto celebrated that big, it was like, oh, I haven't seen that for a while.
Scoring chance. Wolf will move it along for Kuzmenko. Wide open. Huberto. He's in. He scores!
Yeah, I mean, that's almost a 3-zone pass. It's from the top of the circle in his own end. Look at that. Yeah, you have to admire a pass that good. And good finish.
When they're good.
For sure. But that's crazy.
Yeah, Dustin Wolf too. That'll be his first assist in the NHL. I think he had half a dozen in the AHL. And he actually got an assist in his first WHL game with the Everett Silvertips way back in the day. The man loves some drama.
That's right.
So that's Calgary going up 2-0. It looked like they were pretty primed to take this thing home. And then 2:28 left, the extra attacker. We have some drama, and that's where video review rules that Trevor Moore did, in fact, score to make it 2-1. Let's overanalyze this.
Yeah, let's see this. It's such a shame because that is a save of the season if it's not counted as a goal.
But Johnny, let's keep an eye on Wolf's glove here as Moore brings it from below the goal line to a bubble on the forehand.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I don't know how they're deciding that's definitely a goal.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just seems pretty inconclusive to me, but
good
on him for getting his glove on it.
Inconclusive,
right? I don't see a goal line there.
Well, there's no goal line. They're obviously doing it based on where they assume the goal line is.
Right.
It didn't move.
Yeah, but they still won. It was they closed it out pretty well. I like that actually Coronado play to get the 3-1 goal. Just wins the puck off the boards, feeds it to Backlund and then Rooney. And I actually thought Coronado had a really good game from a fundamentals perspective. He's, we know he has offensive instincts. He has that great shot and stuff. But today you saw him making plays like at the defensive blue line and along the boards, winning board battles. And that's kind of the next step up that you need to see from a player that age to be a regular in the NHL.
Yeah, if his performance the last couple of games didn't seal his position on this team, just a technically solid game like tonight, Definitely has. And it says a lot that he's such a young guy and he's out there in a critical moment like that. Calgary's penalty kill is somehow just as bad as the power play, and they managed to close out more than nearly a minute of 6-on-4, and that's where Coronado and Backlund find Rooney for the empty netter and the 3-1 final.
Yeah, you're right. The PK this year hasn't been great, but in this game, I think from start to finish, they were very industrious. They were very efficient in terms of just no major mistakes, keeping them to the outside, up and out if they had to do it, but still, getting the puck out, skating it out if they had to. Just really efficient, fundamentally strong hockey, which was nice to see.
Absolutely. That's the way it went down tonight. 3-1, Calgary wins. We're going to shout out our friends at Richmond's Pub for making this all possible. They're your new home away from home for Afterburner, and they're serving up delicious Barn Burner Blonde from Origin Brewing all day at a special low price. They've got the great food. They have the daily specials, the TVs everywhere. Probably even put it on Prime if you asked them to. Richmond's always ready for game day. The boys are going to be there live on December 3rd for a watch party and Afterburner, and that's going to be a big one with Sean Monahan and the Columbus Blue Jackets in town. Also running a contest with them right now for the November football VIP experience. Grand prize will see some lucky fans go to see Bengals at Cowboys on December the 9th. That's tickets, flights, hotel, $500 in spending cash. And you got to be there on Thursday night to enter during Thursday night football. One name will be selected at the end of the month. All the qualifiers are going to go into the grand prize draw. But you got to be in attendance to win. I don't know if you want to go if you're cheering for the Cowboys right now, though. Didn't the Dallas Stars just outscore the Cowboys tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just take the trip. It'll be fun either way. Get out of Calgary in December.
Cheer for Cincinnati, I guess.
Yeah.
No, was it Dallas put up a 6 spot on the Pens in the first period tonight? Is that how it went down?
Yeah, I think it finished 7-1. That was a bit of a massacre.
Tough. But we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about a team that won against a team that's leading their division. I'm prepared to call that Dustin Wolf's best game of the season. What do you think? I'll say, no, I change it. I take it back. Okay. I say that's his best game as a Flame.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can't, off the top of my head, think of one better. I just wish it was actually a shutout. But, from start to finish, you're right. It was still really good. And I think there was a couple of breakaways on him today. One of them, Anze Kopitar, and stood tall. And, yeah, he looks more and more like he's comfortable at this level and is becoming that starting goaltender.
There's also another one where Michael Backlund got stripped at the blue line. I think it was Kevin Fiala who went down on the breakaway, and Wolf just did not sweat it whatsoever. I know you said you wish it was a shutout. He ends up saving 28 of 29. That's a .966 save percentage. I mean, I think positionally, this is the most secure he's looked. There are times where he's making all these crazy saves, and it's so much fun to watch, but it's where people are able to call his height into question because he's having to do some of these things to kind of compensate for it. But there wasn't a moment where I looked at him this game and it was like, oh, yes.
You're right.
He's as far as goaltenders go. He looked just as big as Darcy Kemper at the other end.
Yeah, you're starting to notice his size less, I think. Yeah, both goalies pull it off. I find he's really, really good at puck tracking and anticipation, even in high traffic. And he seems to be getting even better at that over time, which is a great skill to have, especially, modern NHL is all about getting traffic, distracting the goalie, because goalies are so good and often so big these days, but he can find pucks in the crowd really well.
And there was an element of timeliness to it tonight as well. There was, I think it was the first really great Connor Zary chance where he made the pass to Sharangovich and Kemper just came up massive. Wolf had to make 2 really good stops right before that. And then you look at the Huberdeau goal. Wolf had to make 2 very scrambly saves on the next shift. So there were moments where Calgary's momentum could have totally been snuffed out. And not only did he prevent LA from scoring, but he really prevented them from building up any meaningful momentum because he also wasn't letting out a ton of rebounds.
Yeah, that's true. So you got a lot of one and done from LA tonight. And when they got those chances, you're right. If 1 or 2 of them go in, it might be a different game. But with them stopping them and turning it around real quick, there was no sort of build up of momentum, no chance for them to have a couple shifts in a row or have a goal turn the tide. So yeah, he was very good.
Probably not going to give him the start tomorrow, though.
No, that's the way they've gone, and fair enough. And to be fair to Vladar, he's been mostly very good this year too. I looked up before this game, the Flames had the second best even strength save percentage in the league, and now they might have the best again because of what Wolf did tonight. So that's, yeah, I don't remember last time. Maybe Markstrom's great season through the first 15 or 20 games where they were at the top of the league like this, but maybe not even then. So yeah, good on both guys.
And good to see the team as a whole backing up what they were saying about a better start today. You know, they always tend to say the right things. It's a whole other thing to get out there and play it totally. And I was looking at the way that the first periods were looking for them. I mean, entering tonight, Calgary had 8 first period goals. They had their 5th and 3rd period goals. That's where they have 22 of them. And LA entering tonight was first in 3rd period goals with 27. And Calgary did a really good job of minimizing LA's strengths there, even if, you know, they didn't get the goals to show for it in the first.
Yeah, LA almost looked like they didn't take their opponent seriously enough at the start of the game, to tell you the truth. But sometimes you just have bad games, you have bad starts, and the Flames took advantage, I thought.
We know LA doesn't have some players that typically elevate them. You know, Drew Doughty's out month to month. Jeannot's not in tonight. But I mean, if Calgary's going to be a team that you overlook, they weren't going to get outworked tonight. One player who was working so hard, having such a great night, and just could not get rewarded for it, Connor Zary. You knew before he even finished that.
Yeah. He's had a lot of those this year where he's dangling everywhere. He's, you know, making things happen. And tonight there was a big save on that dangle the first period, and then he hit a crossbar on another one, and he's all over it. And he's maybe the most fun player to watch night to night right now in the Flames. He's not getting consistently rewarded for it, unfortunately. He did score last game, which was nice, but he's just got to keep it up because I think the puck will start going in for him.
Definitely the most creative.
Yeah.
I'd say, like, just driving so much. He looked good with Sharangovich. But there were, the crossbar. He had 2 really good backhanders. They're just centimeters away. And, you know, he doesn't even look excited. He looks furious.
You can tell there's a little monkey on his back every time you see him kind of heave a sigh and look at the heavens. But it'll come. He's playing well. So we'll see.
I mean, I'm kind of also of the mindset, let's take a look at this one here.
Yeah, I mean. Whoops.
Such great effort. And then what a move, too. Ugh. Disgusting.
You probably should have been more selfish in that scenario. Not a bad play to give it to Sharangovich because he's a goal scorer. But, yeah, the defender got his stick in the way a little bit. So
you think he had
it'll happen.
Let's play it back once more.
I think, yeah.
We're able to. If the moment has passed.
Caught her off guard. That's right. There we go.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see if did he have the space to do something himself? Yeah.
Could have gone the other way, right? But easy to say from here, obviously.
It doesn't look like he's panicking with the puck.
No, that was solid play. And other nights it goes in, tonight didn't. But yeah, I said a couple times I've been pretty pleased with what I've seen from Zary this year. I'm just hopefully the puck starts going in for him a bit more, but otherwise, solid
I wonder
development.
where the tipping point is where you stop just being frustrated and it starts actively making you play worse.
Yeah, it affects everyone differently, right? And, some guys get frustrated, but sometimes you get a random bounce and you pick it up again. You just got to keep at it.
He also took a pretty hard hit in the game where it looked like it was giving him some trouble with his shoulder, and that led
wasn't
to
really
what
a hit either, though.
It wasn't great.
No.
But that is where we thought we were going to see a Kevin Ball fight, and we end up with a Hellenius and Kirkland fight.
Yeah, it was Kirkland off the bench, I think, right?
Oh, he flew in off the bench. Like, it's nice that guys were there to, like, step in for Zary. I thought Ball was going to go for it, but not Kirkland was, like, no chance on that one.
Answered the
he
bell.
got, like, one good left in. Like, he's no Lomberg, but damn, like, Calgary has some southpaws in the lineup.
Yeah, they got some guys who are willing to go if they need to. But yeah, that was a slew foot. I mean, I was very surprised that wasn't penalized at the time. I don't know if the league will look at it, probably not, but it's a fairly dangerous play in the middle of the ice, and at least he answered the bell, I suppose.
There is also the odd chance that the league thought they were doing them a favor by not giving them a power play.
Yeah, it's been pretty ugly recently, hasn't it? It's no love tonight either. I think Zary had another chance on power play, but not much else. Otherwise, they're having a lot of trouble gaining the zone consistently and then setting up and doing anything with it. It's the first 5 games of the year, it's like, oh, maybe there's something different. But ever since, it's been an ongoing struggle, unfortunately.
Yeah, no power play goals for anybody tonight. LA goes 0 for 1. Calgary goes 0 for 2.
Oh, yeah.
And it looked...
Yeah. Well, I think I was halfway through
boring.
Both of them until I realized they were actually on the power play. Oh yeah, it's 5-on-4. I totally forgot. That's where they're at right now with the man advantage.
I believe they have 2 power play goals in their last 29 opportunities now.
Yeah, that's not very good.
There's some other words for it. You gotta wait for the
a little stronger
to be able to say them though.
Yeah, we'll leave that to them.
But yeah, when you look at it, like a lot of Calgary's other stats were good. They did end up getting outshot mostly because of that huge push from LA at the end, but even like hits pretty even, 25-23 in favor of LA. Calgary was blocking shots like crazy, 36 blocked shots.
Yeah, as I said, they kept them to the outside and they kept pucks to the outside, minimized all the sort of big chances, and they did get outshot, but you're right, they kind of, in the third period, they shelled a little bit, but they did it effectively.
Yeah, Rasmus Andersson led the team with 7 blocked shots. The guy who had the second most was someone who has had a very tough season, but I thought actually played quite well tonight, was Daniil Miromanov. I thought he was making some really smart plays and some good passes. Yeah. I think this was probably his best game of the season.
And he was involved offensively a little bit too, and I think that's should be his calling card a little bit. But you're right, it was a rough start, at least 10 games for him. And it's starting to look like he might become sort of that seventh D healthy scratch that he was previously, but it looks like he's a little bit back on the ball here, so we'll see if he keeps it up.
Yeah, which is, I don't know, strange too, because it feels like the position he's occupying is still such a placeholder. They're just waiting for Parayko Brusevich to be old enough and strong enough to be able to step into an NHL lineup.
Yeah, they have a lot of sort of young guys kind of bubbling underneath the surface, but nobody's quite there yet. So you're right. I think it'll be who can take that spot next to Uyghur in the next couple of seasons.
Speaking of who's going to take the next spot, the Flames had a pretty big loss, even if some people like to dunk on his efforts this season. Anthony Mantha is shut down for the year. He's going to go get surgery. It's his ACL. So, it's going to be a really difficult recovery for that one, especially when, he's a guy on a prove-it contract who Craig Conroy was probably really hoping to flip for some assets at the trade deadline. I think we're actually going to pull up Ryan Pinder's lightning analysis since we didn't have a full barn burner today. If we're able to cue that up.
Hey guys, it's Pinder. Happy Remembrance Day to all. Here from the top of Sulphur Mountain. The news that Anthony Mantha shut down for the year. Not ideal. This was a classic pump and dump candidate from Craig Conroy. Trade a guy at the deadline, get a pick. That was the idea. Low money, 1-year deal. He cooked. Not ideal for Anthony Mantha in a kind of prove it year, nor Craig Conroy, who was hoping to turn him into an asset at the deadline. But good news for the Honzek Peltiers of the world. One less winger. There felt like there had been a lot of wingers around this year. So I suppose if you're looking for silver linings, more room for the kids in the remaining 60 some odd games left in this season. We'll have Afterburner tonight. Cami and Kent will be reacting to the Kings and Flames. It's on Prime tonight. And tomorrow we'll have a regular barn burner followed by the Flames and Canucks Afterburner with myself and Ryan Pike. Talk to you then.
You look cold.
He called it. We're here.
He did.
Oh, he looks like he's in his happy place.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so that's Pike's quick take on Anthony Mantha. I did see one comment in the chat here. Can we say Mantha's signing was a failure? No offensive contributions and no trade assets. I don't agree with the first part. Anthony Mantha is a lot of things. One of the things that he happens to be is second in goals on the Flames. It was a pretty small sample size. It was streaky, but he came up in some timely moments. He was the difference maker in a couple of Calgary's wins so far this season. 4 goals, 3 assists, +6. Did you think he was going to be a point per game player? It's unfortunate that he can't be flipped for assets, which was probably the ultimate goal. And it's extremely unfortunate that this could be it for him in the NHL. But I think he was filling the role that you wanted him to prior to the injury.
I'd started to warm up a lot to Mantha at the last few games, especially. He was up and down to start, and he's not a great eye test player all the time because he's kind of big. He looks like he's taking it easy sometimes. He just has that sort of style of play because he's bigger, but he's not crashing, banging all the time. But he was pretty effective in the last few contests by my eye, and he seemed to be kind of picking up steam actually. And so it is unfortunate for the player and for the team. Ryan's right that the Flames probably wanted to sign him and flip him at the deadline, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, crap luck. It was a roller coaster. You'd have like an awful giveaway at one end, and then he'd shut you up by scoring.
Yep.
Oh, really leveled out in the end. Yeah, but best of luck to Anthony Mantha as he undergoes his surgery and hopefully can rehab it and get a PTO or a contract somewhere next year. Maybe Connie signs him again. Who knows?
Try it all again. Yeah.
As we know, Adam Klapka got the initial call-up. He was a healthy scratch today. We can only imagine he'll be in the lineup tomorrow against Vancouver. Do you think this eventually frees up more opportunities for players like Sam Honzek or Jacob Peltier, considering the role Mantha was playing?
I think so. It's just when there's less wingers, less winger depth, then that means there's one more slot available. So all you need is somebody else to fall out of favor or to get an injury. And I think you'd see a Peltier recall at that point, and it would be interesting to see him in the NHL again. He's, by all accounts, he's had a pretty good start to the AHL this year, and you can bet that both the player and the team really want him to find his legs.
Yeah, I wonder if they would try him with Huberdeau again for an extended period, since there was some chemistry there prior to Peltier's injury.
Yeah.
Or do you really try to stick him? Like, he's one of those players where you question, can they function well in a fourth line role?
I think, yeah, you give him a shot there because, you know, Coronado played on the fourth line a couple times this year. And I think in some of those games, it worked. Like, the fourth line was effective. He looked good. I don't think you need to stick to the typical, you know, grinder role, get out there, you know, bang and crash only, don't worry about anything else. Yeah, if that's the only role that's available, then like, give him a shot, right?
And then for a guy like Adam Klapka, what do you think he can prove with this opportunity?
He's much more of that fringe player who has to prove it every shift, every game. You know, can he prove to the organization that he's an everyday NHLer? Because he's a little older. He was undrafted. He's made strides, but he has to take sort of the Garnet Hathaway approach to, you know, make it impossible to scratch him, and we'll see if he can do that. It's a tough one, and a lot of players never clear that hurdle, but you never know.
I love watching Hathaway every time he's played the Flames since. He always plays with so much piss and vinegar. But I guess what I really wonder about with Klapka, is he able to prove something more when he gets these opportunities? Or is this the only role that the Flames will ever see him in, like plugging that spot in the lineup? Or is he able to have a big game like a Coronado to prove that he can move up and try something different?
Yeah, I don't think we know until it happens. That with players like that, yeah, every so often they're in a game, they look good. They're in another game, not so much. Third game, you forget they're there, and then they're out of the lineup, and they're doing the back and forth whenever there's an injury. But you're right. Every so often there's a Hathaway who just makes it impossible to get rid of him and becomes that fixture.
I think looking back at the chat, I feel like we should pronounce this name different every time. You're Zary today. Hathaway will always be, to me, the guy who spit on another guy.
Fair enough.
That's a tough look. Although, okay, what's worse? Being the guy who spit on another guy or being the guy who licked another guy?
Nope, that's the worst. The second one. Yeah. Who was that? Marchand?
It was Brett Marchand.
Yeah.
Also likes to shove his fingers into someone else's mouth and be like, "He bit me." It's like, the leopard ate your face? Oh.
He is a world class, you know,
something.
Hit disturber. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we got off on a tough foot. I know he'd never remember it, but he ruined like one of my first live hits when I was a kid, and like a new reporter, and it was.
What did he do?
I didn't have a camera person. I was like a videographer. This is out in New Brunswick, and he used to play for the Moncton Wildcats. So he's at this golf tournament, and I'm trying to do my little live hit, and he walked by with his golf bag and just like walked right between me and the camera, and he just looks it in the eyes like, "Excuse me," and I just couldn't recover. I couldn't compose myself.
No, same guy off the ice then.
Yep, I guess that is it gets under the skin of opponents. I get it, everybody. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna take a hard pivot from the NHL's chief liquor to a beautiful moment we had. This is our Alberta Blue Cross meaningful moment of the week. There are many moments we could pick on Remembrance Day, but today we are going to go to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, where Lanny McDonald had a very special message for the hockey world.
In addition to acknowledging the loss of our honored members, everyone here at the Hall wishes to extend our heartfelt condolences to the families of Johnny and Matthew Goodrow. The news on September 1st devastated the hockey world and everyone who'd had the pleasure of meeting or knowing Johnny or Matthew. These boys were inseparable from birth, living out their hockey dreams by playing for Boston College during Johnny's last year before turning pro. I got to know Johnny and his family quite well during his 8 seasons with the Flames, and I can tell you that nobody loved the game or played over his weight class like Johnny Goodrow did. He was a joy to be around, and everyone in the hockey world will miss him and his brother Matthew. Anyone who knows the game knows Johnny would have been here someday. Tonight, he and Matthew are in our thoughts and prayers of everyone in the hockey community and at the Hall of Fame.
Always well done by Lanny. A moment that isn't going to get any easier as the Goodrows and their loved ones continue to be honored across the hockey world, but very well done at the Hockey Hall of Fame tonight. And I guess I hadn't really thought about it before, but if he had longer, yeah, you really could see a world where it was Johnny Goodrow up there one day, getting to be that guy joking around with all of his colleagues on the ice and just sharing the craziest stories. And it's a shame we don't get that, but wonderful that he was honored there tonight with his brother Matthew.
Absolutely.
That is our Alberta Blue Cross meaningful moment of the week. If you're planning a trip, make sure you remember to pack travel insurance from Alberta Blue Cross. When you've got Canada's most trusted travel insurance in your back pocket, you can focus on making the right kind of memories while you're away. You can visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. And that's going to take us into our road ahead. We don't have to wait very long to see more Flames hockey. They're probably already on the plane. It's an 8 o'clock start in Vancouver tomorrow. The Flames and Canucks both had 17 points heading into tonight. Calgary has since jumped them. Vancouver lost to Edmonton on the weekend, but had won 3 straight games before that. They're also expecting 20-year-old Jonathan Lekkerimäki to make his NHL debut. Dakota Joshua was a maybe, looks like a no now. Of course, he's missed the beginning of the season as he's been battling cancer, but close to returning. And we just wish all the best for him, obviously. Also, no Brock Besser. He's out injured. That was why Tanner Jeannot was suspended tonight and didn't play for LA. So that's tomorrow. Then the Flames are home Friday to host the Nashville Predators, and that's going to kick off a 4-game homestand. The Preds will be playing the second of a back-to-back against Edmonton and Calgary. You know what I mean. They play Edmonton, then they're coming to Calgary the next night. Beautiful. Nashville has really struggled this year. Goals are hard to come by.
Big time.
Stops
Saves
are hard to come by.
Yeah, they're not happy at either end of the ice right now.
It could be interesting if we see the duel of the smaller goaltenders there. Dustin Wolf has talked a lot about how he's admired UC Saros. And if we keep going with the back and forth with the Calgary goaltenders.
Yep. Don't land right on there.
But if I didn't see the final score on the Colorado-Nashville game tonight, but San Jose is actually ahead of Nashville in the standings. Nashville pulls out a win tonight. They could jump into second. Yeah, it's not a great scene. Not a great scene in the Western Conference race for the Preds.
Avalanche beat the Predators in overtime.
Okay. Well, I don't know who owns the tiebreak right now. But
Jeez. Yeah, they can't be happy in Nashville with that.
No, well, they're happy tonight since Shea Weber's going into the Hall of Fame.
There you go.
Silver linings. So Calgary gets another pretty solid break after that. They're off until next Tuesday when they host the Islanders. Isles are third in the Eastern wildcard race. This will be their 4th game in a 5-game road trip after facing Edmonton, Vancouver, and Seattle. The Isles are also pretty banged up right now. Then everyone gets to boo Adam Fox on Thursday the 21st.
Yep.
Some things will never change. And then Saturday, November 23, you close out the homestand against the Minnesota Wild. Any of these sticking out to you in particular? Which one are you most looking forward to?
Honestly, I never look forward to the New York Islanders because they're never a thing. You know what I mean? They're never great. They're never interesting or terrible. They're just the New York Islanders every time. Rangers, I'd like to see. They're kind of a wagon this year. And you're right, get to boo Fox. So if Rangers win, they're a good team. You get to watch them, and if they lose, you get to laugh in Fox's face. So that's not too bad. How about you?
Gosh. Well, now I feel like I can't say the Rangers. But I don't know. I like watching those top guys. So I'll go right to tomorrow because that's also going to take us to Bet365 with our pals over there. Let's take a look at some of the goal scorers that will that Bet365 has the odds on. Who is that? Second from the top?
JT Miller.
I want to know what JT Miller is going to do tomorrow. And if I was a betting person, maybe that is what I would go for. This is the JT Miller revenge match. This is the first time these teams have seen each other since the season opener, which is where Kevin Rooney got hurt. Miller had an assist and the game-tying goal to force overtime. And that was where Connor Zary put Calgary in the win column.
Yeah, you think he'd be pretty motivated to hit the score sheet. So that's not a bad pick for sure.
What's wild, though, when you look back to the season opener, 3 goal scorers in that game already out of commission. Besser's hurt, Mantha's done, and Daniel Sprong just got dished back to Seattle.
Nobody wants to keep Sprong for some reason. I don't know what it is, but he cannot seem to stick more than a season or 2 with a team.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talent there. I remember he got some really interesting early experience in the NHL. I interviewed him a couple times when he was with the Charlottetown Islanders. And he was fresh off of being a black ace for the Penguins when they won their back-to-back Stanley Cup. So he was already kind of fresh off of having that experience and seeing what it takes to win. And strange that the tools haven't all come together and all the other pieces haven't aligned for him to find success in one market.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I haven't watched the player too much because he's bounced around all the time. He seems to score at an okay rate, but maybe there's something behind the scenes about him that nobody likes because it's weird.
Oh, well, that's some of the odds for tomorrow. That's a big shout out to our friends at Bet365. You can download the app today and use code NATION when you sign up. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. All right. Is there anything you wanted to touch on before we go to questions, comments, concerns, Kent?
No, I think we've hit all the notes. What about you?
I think we hit most of mine. So yeah, we'll see. Is there anything, Yasmin, that we flagged throughout? Any questions we want to get to? Friends in the chat, if you have any questions now, throw them in there. Yeah, we have a recap of Daniel Sprong's teams: Pittsburgh, Anaheim, Washington, Seattle, Detroit, Vancouver. Quite a list. Doesn't Gaudreau still make the Hall of Fame? That's a tough one for me. I do think I would love to see him further honored, maybe a Ring of Honor situation for the Flames. The reason I get torn because then it's are there other players who should also go in? Does McCrimmon go in?
Tough one.
Do you go way back and does Pelly Lindbergh go in?
I think it's entirely possible, but It's such a difficult situation.
Especially when you know that like the opportunity so would have been there had he had more time. Yeah. So that's a really tough one to say, I think.
Yep.
But definitely, I think something in the new building. I would be surprised if there wasn't something in the new building. Yeah. For both brothers. Oh. I can see existential on your hoodie. What does the rest of it say? Oh, existential dread. It's the driving force in my life. Also, bring back the Vancouver Grizzlies. Please. Things I would love to see. Hawk and Lube deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, did anyone do more with less time than in the NHL than Hawk and Lube?
Yeah. Scored 50, won a cup, left.
I remember going through some old training camp footage in the global basement, and they had all of the bike tests, like the VO2 and everything. And there were all these shots, like way back in the day, like the Flames were full access. Like you can get that camera up in their face while they're like fighting for their lives, like on those tests. And Lube was wearing like the tiniest, like purple hot pants. I don't know how he was allowed to do that.
He was a bit of a character.
I mean, if you had those legs, like I kind of get it. He was truly the Lomberg of his time.
There you go.
Like just showing it off, but yeah, I'd love to see Lube get some more love. People don't talk about him enough outside of Calgary. All right, let's see. Let's get a couple more here. What do we do to counter giving our high draft pick to Montreal? Trade Vladar or Raz for another first-round pick?
Maybe.
I see the gears turning over there, Ken. What you got?
I'm full on the rebuild, right? So for me, I'm not going to make, if I'm Conroy, I'm not going to make moves just to undercut the team so they lose and get a top 10 pick necessarily. But I do think it's his responsibility to look at what some of those assets could bring, just in terms of long term. And Anderson's having a good enough season that I think, so far at least, that he's going to draw some real interest given his contract too, because he's relatively underpaid for what he does. And now you have
it's
Vladar,
paltry for what other markets would pay for a defenseman like that if they were making a run.
Exactly, like right-handed, he can play on a top pairing. He can play on a power play. Very good player, right? So a lot of teams would line up for that player, I think. And then Vladar, who probably wasn't much of an asset up until the last games he's played, and if he can keep it up, you look into what teams might offer you, because there are definitely some teams right now that are struggling mightily with puck stopping. So someone might step up with a real offer for him, and they should definitely consider both of those things.
And Vladar looks quite good with arguably the weakest Flames team that he's played with in front of him on paper.
Right.
We should say.
Yeah, so you can start to look like a step forward for a guy who had a lot of tools. Everyone was looking to see if he could do it, and if there's more of it, if he can do it for 20, 30 plus games, there's got to be a market for him.
All right, let's do one more here, one or two more, and then we'll call her. Who would you call up from the Wranglers to replace Mantha? I know who I would like to see. I don't know that it makes the most sense for what the Flames are trying to do, but I would like to see Jacob Pelletier come get his shot, show what he's picked up from dominating in the AHL so far. He's got 2 goals and 12 assists, 14 points in 14 games, +9. I think he's second, still tied with Rory Cairns for first in points on the Wranglers. Cairns is getting all the goals, so tell you what. But I would like to see Pelletier get an extended look. Yeah, because even if they don't see him being a long-term factor on this team, he could at least get another shot to show teams why he could be a good waiver pickup.
Yeah, it feels like a do or die kind of season for him. So if he's performing in the AHL, I think it makes sense to give him another shot, right?
He's probably restless enough that he's going to give it 1,000% if he gets out on the ice.
Absolutely.
All right. I think is that it? Well, the Flames raise 11 to the Raptors when Backlund retires. Ooh.
Yeah, they should. They don't always do that.
I think if he no brainer if he surpasses Iginla's games played, which he could. It's very much within reach.
He also strikes me as a guy who will stick with the organization in some role after he's done playing. He seems to be really, joined to the city, joined to the team, and you want people in leadership roles who have that kind of roots and background with the organization. Right?
You see that kind of like the Sedins in Vancouver, just still there. And he's also one of those like freaky fit people. He'll also probably keep winning the Flames training camp testing well into his 40s if he's hanging around Calgary.
Yeah, pulling the Giordano.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that seems like a good spot to call it. Hard-fought win for the Flames tonight, 3-1 over the LA Kings. 28 saves for Dustin Wolf as they hold off the late push. Bit of a controversial goal, but probably one of his best showings as a Flame. Barn Burner's back tomorrow. Afterburner is back tomorrow night for the back-to-back against the Vancouver Canucks. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, guys. See you later.